Well, this starts National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and we have a really interesting story. Our guest here, Gary Malefsky, is with the company Snoopwall. Gary, thanks for being here. It's an interesting and alarming story that you have about this study.
I think this is bigger than Ebola right now because 500 million people are infected and they don't know it. But it's not them, it's their smartphones.
So tell me the breakdown. How does this happen?
So let me give you an example. If you went to the hardware store, you'd buy a flashlight and you'd turn it on and you'd use it to find your car keys at night or to do some work. We've all installed a flashlight app on our phones.
This is the app that you put on and it just goes up. It's a flashlight.
Exactly. And instead of being a normal flashlight, when you hit the on button, this flashlight app is kind of like a real flashlight from the hardware store, except it was made by Mr. Gadget. And it opens up and it says, Brett, can I have your name, address, credit cards, bank account information, family photos, videos, where you're located right now, and all your friends and contacts, and can I send that out over this little satellite dish attached to the flashlight? You probably wouldn't buy that flashlight and you wouldn't hit the on switch.
But that's what's happening?
That's what's happening. The top 10 flashlight apps today that you can download from the Google Play Store are all malware. They're malicious, they're spying, they're snooping, and they're stealing.
So where does that information go? What happens to it?
So I've been tracking down where it goes, and I've found 3 countries so far: China, India, and Russia.
And they use it for various purposes, I guess?
They use it pretty much, it seems, for criminal purposes, but if a nation state wants to collect a lot of information on Americans, this is a great way to do it because everybody installs a flashlight app.
So what do you tell people? Don't install flashlight apps, period?
In some cases, you actually have to not only uninstall it, but you have to factory reset your phone because they install Trojans that when you uninstall some of these flashlight apps, the Trojans are still installed, waiting to run and operate in the background while you're doing important things like mobile banking or reading your contacts list and things like that.
That's amazing. Is that this is a new kind of finding?
It's a new finding. So at Snoopwall, I had my team do a vulnerability assessment of the top 10 flashlight apps, and we created a threat report, which we put on our website, that shows that because this is the most downloaded app, I was always wondering why things were happening in an odd way on my phone, where my GPS was being activated and my contact list. So I had my team look into it, and we discovered this. This is brand new information. Top 10 flashlight apps, 500 million downloads, all acting in a very malicious way.
So if you're telling somebody now, what would you tell them to do? Drop that app and restart your phone? Drop
the app, go back to where you bought your phone and ask them for help on a factory reset. Back up your contacts before you do a factory reset. Back up just core information that's important to you, maybe some family photos and your contacts list. And then really just go for a factory reset, which wipes all the hidden data areas where the malicious Trojans are getting installed.
Now, are you hearing anecdotally that this is happening? People saying there's something weird's going on, or obviously you did your own investigation, but are people reporting it?
People reported this to the FTC, and the #2 flashlight app was sued by the FTC, and they just recently settled. They had 50 million downloads at the time, and Brightest Flashlight, which most of us have on our smartphones, had to, in the settlement, agree to put up a privacy policy before you run their app. The privacy policy, Brett, is 25 pages of legalese saying, yes, we spy on you, yes, we geolocate you, yes, we want your mobile data off your phone. We want all this info, accept or don't run our app. And most people don't read it and they hit accept. That was their settlement with the FTC.
So you just scroll down, as many people do, and through all of the legalese, and people push accept.
You don't even have to scroll. The buttons are right there on the front page of the new version of Brightest Flashlight app, and they're up to 100 million downloads now.
How big a deal is cybersecurity now? We hear about it, we do stories about it, but how big a deal is this for our culture as we get more and more people with phones, smartphones, and using their computers?
I'm worried about kids, teenagers, families that, you give your kid an iPad or a Droid tablet and you let them play, and they install apps that do these things, that geolocate your children. And if they're online predators or cyber criminals, they're going to get at our families because this is the back door into our homes.
You say and then did some data mining and internet research for another 3 years after that, and then did some data mining and internet research for another 3 years after that. And it all kind of, I spent a lot of time online looking at a lot of stuff. And went through the general garden variety, conspiracies we won't get into here. Everybody knows what they are.
The other announcement, you might as well make that one, because we're going to have to tell people sooner
I
or
don't
later,
know. I
aren't
think
we?
you need.
You want me to do
make
it?
Yeah, I just want to put it all on you.
All right, fine. Patricia and I will eventually be moving the show to a brand new internet podcast radio station thing. And it's going to be called, if I'm not mistaken, the flatearthshow.com or .net. It's the Flat Earth Show Network. So
Yes.
it's going to be similar to other networks that are out there, but it's going to be dedicated to Flat Earth and Flat Earth related tangents. And we're going to be going over there. In fact, we're going to be doing a daily show there. The Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes is going to be going over there, and other things and other people. We're not going to say who. And it should be a lot of fun, but it's gonna be a subscription service. You can listen to it free, of course. We'll be as transparent as we can here. You can listen to it free if it's live. If you want the access to the archives, like any other subscription service, you gotta pay a monthly fee, but it's very small. And
something like $5, maybe.
Yeah, like $5 a month, something like that, $4.99 or whatever they charge. I'm not even sure. The producer's taking care of that. But we were approached. Again, it's not something we were just like, we weren't sending out letters to people saying let's do this. We were approached and told, yeah, let's do this. So maybe it was because the Art Bell thing collapsed, and it's like, okay, who's the new people coming in doing this, and we seemed like the natural choice. So go us. Why not, right?
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun, but it'd be daily on top of it. So if you guys can't get enough of it.
I'm Patricia Steer. Mark Sargent is here. And the first person that we're going to be talking to, aside from in the previous part, we had Anthony Riley showing that the domain was not owned by Mark Sargent. And what we're talking about is, I don't know what to call this, domain gates or app gates. Maybe there will be a name for this as time progresses in Flat Earth. But we have the owner of Metatron and iMobilize, that's a company associated with them. And his name is Ralph Joseph Rio. And he is not appearing on camera. And he'll tell us why. But please, before you say, oh, not on camera, he's not real, it's fake, he's an actor. There are some channels, including MGTV, who don't show their face, don't have their voice. We can't check into their background. We have no idea who they are. And there's some Flat Earth channels that are wonderful people, but they never show their face. So please try to keep that in mind. I'm doing the best I can. Joe, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and discuss this issue. I'm sure that you were just minding your own business when I emailed you and said, hey, would you be willing to come on and talk? Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got involved with the company Metatron, and what your role is in that company?
Sure. Thanks for inviting me on your show. Hi, Mark. Basically, I approached Mark a few years ago because I noticed Flat Earth was trending highly in YouTube, and we were testing a new business model. Oh, by the way, I'm the CEO of Metatron Incorporated. Our app division is called iMobilize, and we've been around for about 9 years. Anyway, we wanted to test a business model where we would convert free subscribers, YouTube subscribers, to paid subscribers. We didn't see this demonetization avalanche coming, but we felt that a lot of these channels could be making a lot more money. For example, I'm a personal fan of Mark's show. I thought it was entertaining. I'm flat Earth agnostic, but it was a very entertaining show, kind of like a Coast to Coast. I like conspiracies, and I never thought I'd be part of one, but hey, that's fine. And Mark is also a kind of a historian, and he has opinions on all kinds of things besides flat Earth. So I said, well, why don't we make a website for your diehard fans to listen to some of your other ideas, like on JFK or World War II. And, it did okay, but we also tested out with some fitness channels and yoga, and that's what we're primarily into. We do, our biggest app was Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. We sold 20 million books. That was probably our most famous app that we did. And, Mark and I are similar ages. We have similar backgrounds, but we are not the same person, I must say. Maybe brothers from different mothers, but we are not the same person. So I will just let everyone know that. Any more questions? Or?
Yeah, I think I've got a ton of different questions, and a lot of people have come to me with questions, and some of them I couldn't quite explain, and then some of them I figured out on my own. I was able to debunk the MGTV video within maybe 40 seconds while sitting in my car on my cell phone. Number one, because I know I'm innocent of everything that I'm charged of, so right away I don't have an issue with it. But I was trying to look at it from the perspective of somebody from the outside. One of the accusations, obviously we've determined that Ralph Joseph Real is you, and it's not Mark. Mark is not Ralph, Mark is not Joe, and Mark is not Joseph. It's all one person. But there's another person that you're partnered with. Can you tell us about that person?
Okay. Ralph is my father's name. Joseph is my grandfather's name. I think Mark remembers this. At that time, having the name Ralph was not cool in school. It basically meant barfing. So I decided to go by Joe. And I don't know, it just stuck with me. And as far as Dennis is my business partner. He is an accomplished bass player, website designer. He's from New York City. He's a long-haired guy. He plays in a lot of local San Diego bands, reggae bands. We actually played in some bands together. He's just a great guy. He doesn't know anything about this stuff at all. Doesn't even pay attention to YouTube at all. He just likes to play his music and tour around town and chill at his house. And he's really good at accounting and paperwork and all the stuff I don't like to do. So that's basically it. He's a long-term business partner and friend, and that's the story of Dennis Sluka.
Dennis Sluka. Okay, so we've determined that part. Now, you're a musician too. Some people have been trying to find out who you are and have found a couple of different musicians. Which is the one that is you? Okay,
so there's three I was in a band called Emote. That's probably my most famous band. And we played with Blink-182 and STP and Third Eye Blind, but we never made it big. And I decided to go solo, like most singers do in bands, and I decided to use my name Joe Real, but no one could really spell it, so I used Real. It's kind of like a stage name, like Sting, Gordon Sumner, etc. And it turns out there's 3 Joe Reals on iTunes right now. I was the first. There's one guy that's a rapper. I don't know who he is. And now there's a new guy who's really good. I wish it was my music. It's kind of jazzy, tropical, bossa nova type of stuff. He probably has 12 or 13 tracks on there. Right now I have about 3 songs, and I am coming out with a new album. It's going to be totally different than what I used to do. But that's the story. I haven't trademarked my name yet. I probably should get on that. And I consider myself the real Joe Real. Keeping it.
But have you bought your website yet? Have you bought your website domain yet? That's the real question.
You know what? Let me double check that. I need to. I think I bought Joe Real Inc. But maybe not Joe Real, but spelled my German RIEHL.
So are you an app company primarily, or a website company, or both?
Kind of both, but most of our revenue is from apps.
I will address anything when it comes to this. I will let me give you a backstory real quick. I saw in fact, because I scan, you know me, I mean, all day, every day, I'm looking at YouTube videos and looking at anything in the flat earth community. I just type in flat earth nonstop, filter by everything. And I saw the MGTV video when it first came out. And honestly, look, I get at least 2 hit pieces on me a month since the middle of 2015. Every month, it's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I have been a lot of. So when I saw this, I was like, yeah, it didn't really do much for me. It's like, yeah, I mean, I get it. It's kind of a big leap, big connect the dot, especially with the dates. But it's like, all right, yeah, you can run with that. And I didn't think much of it until ODD decided he was going to use that as his vehicle to escape the conference, to leave it. I could tell right away, by his comments, he did not want to be there at the conference. And there's no way a man with 100,000 subs, after his channel had been destroyed more than once, at a big internet presence, is going to let me chase him off. The long and the short is this. the marksargent.com thing. This is I give you the step-by-step on how that happened. I get calls all the time from people that want to do stuff. And sometimes they ask permission, sometimes they don't, sometimes they ask forgiveness after the fact. These guys out of San Diego, in fact, it was really one guy I was talking to. His name was Joe Real, Reihl. He doesn't go by Ralph. He goes by his middle name, Joe. Like my dad goes by Ken, his middle name. His first name is actually George. And he goes, hey, we'd like to do marksargent.com. Would you mind letting us do that for you? And I was like, yeah, sure. Do I need to do anything? You know me, I'm busy. It's like, do I have to do anything? And he goes, no. Just give us links from the YouTube stuff. Give us permission. We'll buy the domain. And we'll split the money with you. And it's like whatever money we make. It's like fine, that sounds great, wonderful. And I had nothing to do with web design. I literally, they bought the domain, did all that stuff, and that was literally in the beginning of 2016. And I was under some obligation to them that I basically promised. I said, look, I will help you. I'll make sure I deliver as much content as I can and send you the links on a regular basis for about the next year. And that ran out in the beginning of 2017, March, April, something like that.
So, I'm not a fan of you. I just want to say that up front.
Okay.
How are you affiliated with Metatron?
I am not affiliated with Metatron. Metatron built marksargent.com.
You are not affiliated with Metatron.
No, I do not.
Okay.
I'm not.
So you do not know. You do not know Ralph Real.
No. I know him. They built the website back
in 2016.
He's
the CEO of Metatron. So you don't know him. He pays for your website. He pretty much bought the Mark Sargent brand.
Oh boy, you're just gonna roll with this, aren't you? There we go.